In the olden days, a common way of irrigation is flood irrigation. You just flood the entire farm. Then we had sprinklers, and then we came to drip irrigation now, which is gaining faster and faster deployment around the world to precisely provide water to the roots of the plant. And then on top of that, there's also the fact about scheduling the irrigation correctly, managing the right amount of water going to each crop. And that has been evolving too with time. It's first just started out with just using the weather as a predictor, and then it's evolving now to using more satellites and other kinds of data to really drill down on exactly how much water your crops need and be precise with it.
What I understand, the largest unsolved problem we have with water, this unhealthy irrigation runoff going into our public conveyances, our ditches and streams and lakes. And in California, the problem is even worse, because if you're, let's say you're living out here in the mountains area or the foothills, okay, and you're on a well, and then the nitrate, which has gotten into the soil, has gotten into your well. If the nitrate gets above a certain level, the state of California will order you to turn off your well. So now you have no drinking water for the house. Okay, so we said, well, we've got to do this on a commercial scale at 50 to 200 gallons a minute. We have to get the nitrate out so it falls below the regulatory limit that's required. And we have to do it in a way that potentially might be at a net zero cost to the grower. We started with one kind of concept, but what we ended up, especially at this location, and what all of our customers are now doing, is they're finding that if they integrate our system with a small storage pond, they can put themselves in a position where they don't have to release any water like they have been. And so we stopped the problem here on the ranch. It never leaves. Not only do we have a nitrate problem, because of the way we've been working with fertilizers and this imported water, we now have a salt problem. And so what's happening slowly in California is that our soils is getting more saline. And because of the scale of the water usage compared to a city, for example, trying to desalt or remove the salt from the water becomes a major undertaking. Our second product line is focused on getting these so-called dissolved solids like salts out of the water. So if we do that, the water can be reused.
It's really a question of how can we make technology the most accessible, and so that the technology is not just accessing like the top 1% of farmers, but actually reaches all of the farmers. That's one of the big issues in water technology right now.
Cost is a big issue for the lower farms. So let's fly to Ventura, where we're gonna visit one of our friends who are also hosting us today. Small farm is not a corporate farm with 10,000 acres. It's not a pension fund with many property across multiple states. He's transitioning from lemons to avocados. Very little profit. Here, for $500 a year, he has a water management record, and he gets alert when the pump is bad. Imagine you have to measure water for every single pump. You're talking about $1 million of equipment and seller fees, and it's basically like a network you have to maintain. They're farmers, they want to focus on the crop. So we're able to leverage at each pump an existing smart meter. This is a PG&E meter here, and so we're able to measure water. There's no sensor to add. It's a good answer to start with. And then if they want to add some more information to track, where the water goes or the depths of the water, like in this case, they are tracking the water depths to know if they're going to have enough water in the future. You can see that, the last 3 years have been pretty good. From 2018 to 2019, the water table came back up. So here with a couple of stations, you can get water depths, you can get water use. It's only, a few tens of $1,000s to get all the information they need.
I think the thing that I am most excited about is this project we have internally known as so-called zero net cost treatment. So let's say that you're growing tomatoes. This is an example, okay? Generally you have a tomato processing plant, and so all the growers surround this processing facility. But the growers of tomatoes have the nitrate problem. They're generating the nitrate problem. The producer, the processor, the tomato processor is producing the organic waste problem. So by simply connecting the two together with a little bit of technology, we lower the cost of treating the organic waste, because now they're not going to get fined by the state or the county or whatever. And they produce so much of this stuff, we can give it to the growers for free. And so we're thinking that if we can lower the treatment costs for this large facility, we can share some of that wealth with the growers, and the net result is we denitrify the water for a net zero cost. And everybody wins. The environment wins, the state wins because they got what they wanted, which is stop, shipping all this stuff into the local rivers, and the growers win because now they've lowered their input costs, and hopefully to the point where the whole thing can be net zero, at least for the growers and for the processors. So that's what our so-called net zero nitrate removal concept is about, linking all those different waste streams together.